Well, a well-known resident affected by the controversial coastal hazards report is vowing to keep the pressure on the government to get it scrapped completely. Sir Tiffany O'Regan says the whole process needs to be in central government's hands rather than relying on individual councils. Here's Jared McCulloch.
The controversial coastal hazards report is in its third stage through the Christchurch City Council, but one resident is saying stop.
They should move it to central government. They should get a national plan worked out or strategy worked out which is rational.
Sir Tiffany lives in eastern Christchurch. His home was in South Shore, red zoned. Now he lives in New Brighton, affected by the prediction around sea level rises due to climate change.
If they actually believe what they're predicting as hazards for the so-called coastal hazard, which I might add runs right in as far as Lancaster Park and goes a long way inland, then if it's as they say, why aren't they taking it further?
A report has been issued by the City Council, highlighting the areas at risk, a process all councils will need to do as part of a government requirement. But he says the whole issue should be taken from local council hands and given to central government to deal with.
There needs to be a lot more intellectual firepower applied to these questions than is currently being applied to them, rather than fobbing them off on local government representatives who, and a somewhat inadequate consultative and bureaucratic basis underpinning them.
He went along to the meetings held by the Christchurch Coastal Residents United Group and says more needs to be done to get the future-proofing of the city right.
And I've heard one round of debate which said the South Shore area, it's no good trying to mitigate the sea level rise because mitigation doesn't work. And then they'll tell you that Sumner's okay because it's got a seawall and it's already been mitigated. So what they're really saying is we can mitigate at Sumner, it's logical, but across the water we can't mitigate at South Shore.
18,000 homes are expected to be affected by the coastal erosion and inundation in the next 50 to 100 years. Now residents are being asked to make submissions, but Sir Tiffany says it's a waste of time.
It is improper to be using emergency legislation for long-term policy planning.
But for now, concerned home and business property owners only have 2 days left to get their submissions to council. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.